Good afternoon, respected members, eminent speakers of the Institute. On behalf of the Committee for Members in Practice, it gives me immense pleasure to warmly welcome you all to today's thought-provoking and transformative webinar on bridging the mindset gap. In a profession that consistently balances experience and innovation, tradition and transformation, and values and velocity, today's theme could not be more relevant. The chartered accountancy profession today is witnessing an exceptional junction of generations, seasoned professional with decades of wisdom, mid-career practitioners navigating scale and systems, and young professionals driven by speed, technology, and new perspectives. In the generation gap, a myth created by observation, or is it a life demanding deeper understanding, empathy, and alignment? Equally important within rapid growth, digital disruption, and competitive pressures, how do we preserve a strong value system in practice? How do ethics, integrity, trust, and professionalism continue to be our success mantra? Today's webinar seeks to explore both dimensions, blending human insights with professional wisdom. It's now my proud privilege to introduce a stalwart of the profession, a thought leader, reformer, mentor, and all above a torchbearer of professional values, C.A. Madhukar Narayan Hirgange, Chairman of the Committee for Members in Practice. He is widely respected for his deep technical mastery, unwavering commitment to ethical practice, and tireless contribution to professional education and policy advocacy. As Chairman of Committee for Members in Practice, his vision has been clear and compelling to empower members in practice, strengthen their value systems, and enable them to succeed in rapidly changing professional environment. The very theme of today's webinar reflects his belief that sustainable success is achieved not merely through knowledge or technology, but through mindset, alignment, and uncompromising values. Sir, we are honored to have you. May I request you to share your address and set the tone for today's deliberations. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanshu. You yourself set the background very well of why we are doing this program. I would like to speak broadly about what makes a successful human being. Success measured not only in terms of money, but in terms of respect, in terms of your influence, in terms of, I would say, even the love and affection you gather along the way. There could be many. Some say very powerful enemies also is a good, good thing to say how good you are when you have bad guys who are your enemies. But not many are there, luckily. So I would like to start with the point that we are a distance learning education, and we have to provide a lot of inputs, which generally other students in MBA or who go through the college curriculum get. Most of the CAs are missing their college life. However, this course is a specific course, and it is meant probably for the smart guys and also the guys and girls who are not economically fortunate. Our course provides right from the beginning, from the time you join the foundation. If you are from certain areas, 75% of fee waiver is there. Then we have a scholarship of 1,500 rupees. And from there, it keeps rising. At the next level, it becomes 2,500. At the next level, it becomes 3,500. So we have a very good supportive environment. Add this to the stipend, which one gets after the inter exam. So many people who are, you could say, a bit on the poorer side, economically challenged, are able to make their lives here. In our own office, we have at least half a dozen people who have come from, you can say, rags to riches. And they are doing very well. And they buy cars like anything. They love that. For people who have already seen all this, it doesn't matter, but for them, it matters, which is nice to see. So, what is it that our institute does? The knowledge part of it, I think there is nobody or no course which is so tough, which provides such a broad coverage of subjects. Many times we think subjects are not relevant, but as we go up in life, we take choices. We may come to know how important this broadness of the coverage was. Today, hardly anybody reads. So now in CA, you have to read. If you don't get 40%, you're out. Plus, you have to get 50% average. So I think knowledge is something which is ingrained in us. And we study subjects which we don't like. At least I didn't like at least 5 subjects in CA. But I got through. So what did it prove? It proved one very, very essential thing. A chartered accountant can learn anything. There's nothing which he cannot learn at whichever age. Second is the skills. Now, we don't get so many skills. We don't learn the communication skills, many essential skills automatically. But when we join any organization, automatically Excel is learned, even macros is learned, communication is learned. You know how to deal with the other gender, especially if you come from, only boys, only girls school, you will have a lot of limitation. I think all that goes in the time of your articles. Essential skills are good, but beyond essential skills, good to have skills also we need to build. Many of us don't do that. We think we'll do it later. But my suggestion is that you should look at what are the skills which are good to have for global consultancy. If you Google this or put it in your chat GPT, you will get a good answer. Then you can choose. The advent of automation and technology is a part of our life. We also need to automate ourselves, our offices, and help our clients also migrate, automate. This is a very big, what I would say, support to your clients. You may not be doing it today. You may not be knowing about automation. Please do it. You do it for yourself and you can go ahead and do it for your clients. It is also going to be pretty lucrative, let me tell you. AI, of course, I don't have to talk much. It is going somewhere else. And thanks to technology and AI, the type of opportunities which we are getting, the GCCs which are there in Bangalore, Hyderabad, rest of the country, the average salary itself is 20 plus. And if you're a consultant, you could earn 50 lakhs to 1 crore, even if they are your only clients. But we need to get good. We need to get the knowledge, skill, good to have skills. Then very important what Priyanshu talked about, value system. We need to have integrity. Without integrity, you can't work in the MNCs today. Those days where you say, I will manage the officer are gone. Credibility is very important. Confidentiality, you have to demonstrate In your offices, you have to say that, please come, I'll show you my system. You will not be able to get into my system at all. Come, I'm taking you to my office. You go ahead and see what you can do. Show them that your office is safe and secure. This is a part of the value system. The next thing is very important, attitude. So we have covered 4 now. This is the 5th. What type of attitude do you have? Do you have the right temperament? Do you take offense at people when they speak? Do you react or do you respond? Do you work above the line or you work below the line? You can Google any of this and you will get a wealth of information on that. We also have a couple of videos on that. The choices you make determines where you go. This mindset change is basically about what choices you make. The last is empowering habits. Habits somehow are such that even if you don't have that quality, it comes. For example, doing a meditation and a breathing exercise in the morning makes your day clear. Sometimes it even gives you solutions which you are not getting, in normal courses. After the meditation, suddenly you get a bolt of light and some problem you have been dealing with gets solved. So this is what this mindset changes is about. If you see, we have sessions on gratitude, then empathy. We have already had such sessions. And in attitude also we have had sessions. I'm not going to talk about my committee's several programs and several benefits. Priyanshu is going to give you the what is that QR code, and you could go to our website. Large number of benefits are there. Many of the CAs in the country do not even know what benefits we are giving. And it's available. For example, in software, we have one practice management software, entirely free. We have an offer from Zoho. From Zoho, we have an offer for, I think, 3 to 5 chartered accountants of one office, up to 5, which is also free for 3 years. What more you want? Don't miss the opportunity. Even if you think I can't use it, join it, use it. You will learn something, and maybe you'll also get a peek into the power of automation. We also have programs on automation. In fact, on 16th, we are having a full day on digital automation. And we will also put some of this online. But I will stop with this. I have talked too long, I think. So I will now like to listen to the learned speakers who are also eager. I hope I didn't take away too much of your time. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for setting the tone for today's webinar. So it's
You should
now
see
time
this book
for...
also.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I bought this in Bombay yesterday.
Mhm.
Mindset.
Okay. So it's now time for the first session, Generation Gap, Myth or Reality. So for this, we are delighted to welcome Ms. Kavita M. Prakash, a distinguished corporate trainer, motivator, counselor, and soft skill expert with over 20,000 hours of training experience, impacting more than 1 lakh individuals across corporates, institutions, and leadership platforms. She is a distinguished Toastmaster and award-winning professional speaker and a master facilitator in leadership, emotional intelligence, ex- experimental learning, and mindset transformation. Her signature programs have inspired leaders, entrepreneurs, managers, and professionals to rethink perceptions, bridge gaps, and work mindfully. Today, she will help us decode generational perceptions, workplace dynamics, and whether the so-called generation gap is truly divide or simply a difference waiting to be understood. Ms. Kavita ma'am, we warmly welcome you and look forward for your insights. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Namaste, everyone. Looking forward to interact with you all. Of course, the technical limitation is that I'm going to speak and you're going to listen. That's the best interaction that we're going to have. So I am usually called curious Kavita or questioning Kavita or creative Kavita. And I have been training ICAI batches for the past, I think, 12 years now. I think I started around 2010, 12. And I've never wanted to have a second thought about it because I enjoy interacting with those students all the time. Um, so I think the topic is a little intriguing and something that we all face day in and day out. I had a grandmother who was very efficient in managing cooking for the household of nearly 50 people. It was a very large mansion, and you can imagine how so many people lived together under one roof. She would always make magic with her ingredients and treat us to a great palette of dishes. How would she do that? Did she have magic or did she have the attitude to take it on? Fast forward to the recent generation. I will tell you a little about my generation also. Fast forward to the latest generation of mothers or people who actually provide nutrition to the families. A lot of them are working and they have to balance so many things: profession, family, personal life, and of course, their vacations and their personal time. So we have convenience at the tip of our fingers. Now, this is the generation that's enjoying all the possibilities that technology can offer. So, technology existed always, but it existed in different forms in different generations. So much so, our attitude has been in tune with what is in our environment. That's the right way to look at it. Welcome, number crunching superheroes. I know you are looking forward to a balanced session on how to develop compatibility between various generations. So, in these sessions, I'm going to have a little quiz. And of course, I'm going to answer those questions also. But I'm here to make you think a little or get nostalgic, pick a few things from your memory lane and bring it on the surface of your mind. So it's time to get your number game on and make sense of those crazy financial statements. No, I'm not saying that. In my session, you're not doing any of those because you're just going to vibe to understand how to develop compatibility between various generations. For this, I think we need to understand what are the different generations. I was born in 1970, so you quickly must have calculated my age. I'm sure there must be some gray haired people out here in my audience too. I always tell my audience that, what you see here is not actually gray hair, but these are silver and platinum linings and highlights that God painted for me patiently. This showcases the experience that I come with and also the charm of a salt and peppered topped head. Now, when I train, it is usually about experiential trainings. I'm a soft skills trainer. I usually train on behavioral and attitudinal topics. And I engage my audience thoroughly and keep them on their toes. Sometimes I do have a couple of millennials or even someone from my generation, that's the Gen Y. So I can see how the compatibility has to be achieved through the activities or the interactions that I deliver in my session. And of course, there is a briefing and then the activity and then the debriefing. This is the most important part where I bring in the mindsets or attitudes on the table of how to cope up with it with different generations. So that is why this topic is very close to my heart. So I'm going to ask you a little quiz. It's a trivia quiz. Okay. You can actually type it on your Zoom chat, and I guess Priyanshu can just tell me if it is possible. I'm just going to answer them and take a few seconds, and of course, give you the answer also. All right. So we'll just do a little trivia about generation gaps. Are you ready, everyone? Okay. So which generation of CAs popularized using Excel for financials?
Everyone can put their answers on the questions desk link. so
Was
that I
it the Gen X or Gen Y, millennials, or the Gen Z? Okay. The answer, of course, is Gen X. And the next question. What was the most dreaded tax form in the 90s for chartered accountants? I have also filled this form because we also have a family business. When we do interstate and transactions, this was a very important tax submission. Okay, I give you the answer. The VAT form, VAT 20. Okay, now the next question. Which tech tool do Gen Z CAs love the most? Okay, it is cloud computing, cloud accounting software. Okay, so if you got all the three answers right, all the three guesses right, then you have 30 points from my side. Keep a track of all the points that you have scored, because I'm going to ask you more and more questions. All right. So is everyone familiar with memes that we enjoy on Instagram or Facebook or anything that's viral, right? There are wonderful memes on Twitter as well. Okay. So this one, the meme says, when the audit reveals a 1 rupee error, how is the reaction? Okay. The chartered accountant has discovered a minor discrepancy in the financial records. So it translates in words. And the next meme, when clients ask for a tax saving hack, the client is seeking unconventional methods to minimize tax liability. You all have seen it, you have faced it, you've experienced it, you've answered the clients, right? Yeah. So let's have a little debate about the past and the present generations. Okay. So this is an optional question. I have two options for this. Among accounting software, is it better with manual ledgers or cloud-based tools? I know what's running in your head. Actually, both have their charm. And then when it comes to client communication, which is better, in-person meetings or Zoom calls? My generation always thought that in-person meetings are more personal and it can actually manage conflicts in a closed room. However, now we are comfortable with both. We can convince, persuade, influence anyone on Zoom calls also as much as we can do in in-person meetings. My next topic is about tax compliance. Is it easier with paper filings or e-filing? Here, I'm sure e-filing wins because it's savvy, it's easier, it is on a one screen, and there is no pulling up too many things. I suppose I got a little hang of your profession by interacting with a lot from the past 10 years. Okay. So these were just a little trivia quiz that helped us to get back and understand. How many of you remember listening to music on a tape recorder, which had a cassette and we had to wind it with a pencil to set the tape in place? And then my generation has also seen CD-ROMs to play music and listen to that. But this generation doesn't want any of that. They don't want any physical stuff. Everything is digitized and on the cloud. They just pull it from here and there and they play it for us. So that's the most savviest thing to do, I suppose. Well, everything comes with its own advantages and merits. Now, let us respect it for what it is. I would like to tell you a little about how Gen Zs, Gen Ys, millennials are explained because we always get a little confused about what they are. Of course, this information is available on the internet, but I would just like to bring it on here because it sets the context to what we are going to discuss forward. Now, there are baby boomers. I'm sure there are some baby boomers still in practice. These baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. Their strengths were experience, loyalty, and leadership. They would always love to communicate face to face and have structured meetings, protocols, and everything in place. So, what would motivate them? They loved recognition, they loved stability, and they still love opportunities to mentor. Then comes the Gen Y, the Gen X. This is my generation. The Gen X strengths are independent, they are adaptable, and they are tech savvy. How do they communicate? Through email, concise updates, and of course, now on WhatsApp and any other platform. We have adapted the most. How do they motivate themselves? Flexibility is the name of the game. Autonomy. We love to do all the things without any micromanagement. And of course, we respect work life balance. Then comes the next generation to me, that is my son, my daughter in law, and everyone. I've seen them working and how they interact at their workplace and how they interact with me. The millennials were born between 1981 and 1996. Their strengths are tech expertise, they're very collaborative. They actually plan a lot of things in collaborative terms with people from different domains and bring up really creative ideas and initiatives. And they are mostly very purpose driven. How do they communicate? Mostly digital on Slack or Teams, and they love instant feedback because they can take action immediately. And they normally don't take things too personally when some feedback is given. I love them. I'll just give you a little instance of what happened at my home. When I came into my family, and I was okay with cooking. That means I knew just a couple of recipes. So all that I had to do was ask my mother-in-law, and she would tell me orally, and I would make a mental note. After some time, I would go into my room, note it down in my book. I had a big fat recipe book that was handwritten. It was my pride possession. Fast forward to another 30 years, my daughter-in-law comes home, and then I'm happily waiting that I have all the traditional recipes, I have experience, tips, and techniques to make the dish better. And I'm waiting for my daughter in law to ask me how to cook a particular dish. I waited, and waited. It never happened. I felt so bad, so unrecognized. But then I sat down and thought, oh my God, when there is YouTube, there's a plethora of options to look for recipes and cook the dishes. Why would she actually come and ask me? YouTube videos also give tips and techniques, hacks, all that. So my generation felt a little disconnected, dishonored, because they were not coming back to us to ask and recognize the wisdom we carried. Life comes and we have to take these things with a pinch of salt. So I had to have an open mind, jump into their shoes, and then understand that When something is available at your fingertips, why worry about talking and communicate? To someone who needs a little more time to explain, and so on and so forth. However, these differences should not lead to a divide, but it should lead to a collaborative effort. That's my take on this. Now comes the Gen Z that was born between 1997 and 2012. Their strengths are that they are the digital natives. Like we say, they were almost born with a phone in their hand. They're very innovative and very entrepreneurial. They can take big risks. Of course, when they have parents with big pockets, it's much easier. Even otherwise, they know how to make their things work through different elements like crowdfunding and so many other ways. So they don't really hesitate to take those big risks. How do they communicate? Their communication is short, concise, precise to the point, and usually visual. They exchange a lot of videos just to express their thought process and make other people understand what they are thinking actually. Like they could be sharing memes, which brings out their thought process again. And they have a very, very nice take on things. So these are the people we are mostly dealing with, the Gen Z. Now, what are the quick tips to actually see how we can bring in compatibility? Multi-generational teams have a flavor of their own. Recently, I heard one millennial telling me that she works for Accenture as an IT engineer. She joined about 5 months ago. And she said, I've got a very good project, but not a good team. I asked her, why do you say so? She said, I'm the only one of my age. Everyone else in my team, all the 15 of them, are oldies. What can I talk to them about? Sir, how is your daughter? What is your son doing? Where did you go for vacation with your family this time? Is that what I would want to talk about? So I really don't want to be in this team, though I like the project. So, how quickly they can come to conclusions and make their preferences evident. All that I had to tell her was, of course, so what you can do is what you don't find at the workplace, you have to find a community elsewhere so that your needs of socializing are met elsewhere. If you don't think you cannot socialize with a little older generation, so find your tribe and do a lot of other activities which can help you to unwind or vibe with your own generational fancies. She tried that and she came back to me and said, that was a good tip. I think I'm also more comfortable with the work because I like the project that we are delivering. And after another month, she said, I have learned a lot because I was with this generation. And the experience that they carry is worth its weight in gold. So there was a good transformational story which I could relate to. Let me give you a few quick tips for multi-generational teams. Okay. So tip number 1, it is important to communicate smartly. That means using the right channel like email, chat, face-to-face for the right generation. Sometimes faceless communication also happens, and some people are comfortable with it, and work also gets done. But it depends on the generation, how they want it. So it's always nice to understand how different generations think, perceive, and prioritize. It will help us to connect with them in a much, much better way. Ultimately, the bottom line is to get the work done. Now, the bottom line is to get the work done innovatively and have an edge over others, your competitors, perhaps. The second tip on how mentorship works, it's always nice to pair a younger person with an older person for mutual learning. This is a very good exercise for collaboration, and also exchange of the latest technology and the past experience. You can try that in your offices as well. I'm sure it happens, but you can actually try it intentionally. I'm a member of the Toastmasters Club. In Toastmasters, we have a mentor mentee relationship and usually an experienced Toastmaster. Experience need not mean only with gray hair and big numbers in their age, but also experienced on how to conduct the meetings, how to communicate, how to deliver on stage, how to script your speeches. All these come into experience. Now, when a new member joins, we usually pair with an experienced member to a new member. And this actually helps the experienced member also to share how they experimented and how they figured out to do something. Um, well, the choice of topics is always left to the individual because your experience is what you want to share about or talk about on stage. So have that freedom, give a little open space, and respect what they come with. Let's not make judgments about people, whether it is older generation or the younger generation. Another tip about how flexibility is key. Offer flexible work options to keep everyone happy. There is also a saying that if you want to make everyone happy, sell ice creams. Of course, that's a saying of the older generation. Now, our trends have changed, our savviness has improved, and our environments have a lot to demand from each of us. So we have multiple responsibilities, and that is why we have evolved into the hybrid work mode also. It's been advantageous to so many people. I talk to a lot of people across different domains, different industries, different backgrounds. Everyone is enjoying the fruit of a hybrid work environment. It's not that they are missing office or it's not that they are missing family time. They're able to at least achieve 80% of their work life balance. And that way, I think it brings a lot more peace in their heads. All right. Now, this is the most crucial one when it comes to the workplace situation, the feedback loop. It's always nice to have regular check ins rather than wait for everything to be completed and then point out something that was done in the beginning and say that it was good or not good or how to do it better at the end of the project. That really will not help. So it's always nice to have frequent check ins and give feedback, a constructive feedback on how to do it better, what could have been changed, how to use different tools. It can be anything that's constructive. It's always helpful to have it at frequent intervals. I hope you're doing that in your offices with your colleagues as well. Then there is something called the 360-degree feedback loop, where an individual takes feedback from someone in a superior hierarchy about how the project went or how they performed. We also take feedback from our colleagues, the peers, who are at the same level of hierarchy as us. And then we also take feedback from the younger ones about how they felt working with us or how they felt working with different softwares or what did they really innovate or find something new that can also help us. So I love this term called 360-degree feedback because it gives us a holistic understanding of where we stand and where we need to reach. And I think that's a very big deal because it helps us to grow professionally. Not just you and I growing, but it helps the whole team to move the wheels together in tandem. One last thing that I would like to leave you with is about looking at a perspective which is much larger, whether your work is purpose driven. I always tell my students at the CA Institute, please think on how your work is impacting or helping other people. In fact, When a chartered accountant does a good job, the businessman or the individual whose taxes are being filed will feel greater confidence and focus more on how to develop his business and also scale it. It gives them the confidence because they have strong legs who are the chartered accountants. When I talk to IT engineers, I always appreciate them because they have helped us access user friendly technology at so many levels. To name a few, the UPI, it has reached the grassroots and it has brought a tremendous change. And one of the reasons why we also became a trillion dollar economy. Now there is more to look forward to. And it comes with the collaborative effort of various generations that I had just talked about. To conclude my talk, I would just like to give a little um, of my thought process about how to cope up with the generational differences, which actually do exist subtly. Now, if we are able to identify them and also address them in our own way, I think we can have better workplaces, less toxic workplaces, which we look forward to come back on a Monday morning. So, how do we do that? It's great to embrace the mix. It's like when you go to a wedding and you have umpteen choices of dishes at the buffet table. Do you love it or don't you? I'm sure there are some traditional, conventional, standard items on the menu, and there are some new items which we would also like to explore. So, this is what makes the platter very interesting. There's a balance of nutrition, there's a balance of taste, newness, presentation, ingredients, and also the magic of the dish. I think we all have to focus on these 5 tips. First one being open minded. Let us not make assumptions at the face of a person. Let us be willing to learn from each other. That will make each other's day too. Second one, communicate effectively. Find a common language. Literally, I mean English, Hindi, Kannada, Urdu, Malayalam, whatever it is. Because language connects to people instantly. I have seen it many times. And that's why I can speak 7 languages. It has also expanded my professional opportunities just because I can speak so many languages. So it's nice to adapt your style to the local style or the person whom you're communicating with in their own language. Sometimes it may not be a literal language like Kannada, English, or Hindi, but it can also be body language, understanding the nonverbal cues. Like some people may just keep quiet and not share anything. It's always nice to crack the tip of the iceberg and get a little more details about by interacting with them. Be a good conversationalist. The third tip that I would like to talk to you about is focus on the strengths. Leverage each generation's unique skills and experiences because it provides us unfathomable possibilities and options. Because some come with the experience, the been there, done that mindset. And it would be a good mix to have, hey, what's there on the other side? Let's explore it. So, you understood how to cope up with different generations. The fourth point that I would like to talk about is encouraging collaboration. Mix teams and projects to foster understanding. Because I have worked with multicultural collaborative teams on different projects on delivering my communication skills training programs. In fact, I have worked on some teams where someone was from Australia, USA, Middle East, Canada, India, Pakistan, and we were about 10 people from different countries, and we had to come up with a great program which actually catered to the diversity, the cultural diversity of the audiences. That gave me a lot of exposure and it made me think at some points, it even slapped my face alerting me as to where I was making the judgments. I'm a better facilitator after those experiences. The fifth point that I would like to talk to you about is the most crucial one. Maybe it's an underrated virtue, but I would like to honor it and respect it. It is sacred for me. Be patient and flexible. Not everyone works the same way, so you have to adjust and adapt. And that is why we have this new normal, which is the hybrid workplace scenarios. Or there are so many things which I can talk about, which actually has helped us to adapt and also open up new opportunities to everyone. I would not say equal on equal basis, but at least it provides equity in the way you approach different scenarios in life. I think I've shared something that I learned from my experience of handling people, dealing people, delivering enormously enjoyable sessions. And I have just squeezed the juice out of the sugar cane and given you just one glass of the sugar cane juice. Now there's more sugar cane, there's more crushing, and there's more juice for us to explore. Thank you so much, number crunchers and super professionals. Hats off to you for all the things that you're doing for the country, the community, and individuals like me. We feel more confident to be around you. Thanks so much. Over to Priyanshu. And thank you, Madhukar sir, for having me here. It was nice to actually put together all my thoughts about how to handle generational differences and make your workplaces much better. Thank you.
You-
Over to you.
Thank you. I was just talking to a nephew of mine who has had a very interesting career. He started with doing engineering, then he went to Germany to do something further, then he went to do his MBA in the USA, then he was in South Africa for some time, married a foreigner. Now I think he's in England. A few days back, I met him and I asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I am into education now." So I asked him, because of this mindset change program, I asked him a question. Look at a chartered accountant and tell me what is that one characteristic or two characteristics of a chartered accountant which are the most important. So I thought he will tell honesty or something like that. But he said something which was a bit different. And that's where it's relevant to your topic. He said the best characteristic for any human being, forget chartered accountant, in this world today is the characteristic of being able to communicate freely with people of all ages. This is what he observes. Young boy, but after he said that, I was just thinking, I was with him in a in one of these family functions. So we were there for a long, long time. And I felt after some time he was bang on. He also said something which is the point that one needs to be curious about everything. Like you said, curious Kavita. So
Yeah.
I don't know how curious I am, but yes, in our office, I always tell our people, don't start without asking why. Why are you doing this? Why is it important? Then you will find that it is not a work anymore. When you ask these questions of why, then you own the work because you know it's so useful. You're contributing to others. And when you're doing that, it is not a chore anymore. It's an enjoyment. So thank you for taking us through this, generation understanding of various generations. And if there may be some questions, I don't know, Priyanshu can take them.
Yes, sir. We have one question. Many women professionals feel their contributions are under recognized across generations. So, how can women CAs assert their professional identity and leadership presence while maintaining integrity and mutual respect?
Wonderful question. It's packaged so well with so much vocabulary. I love this. Thanks for asking this question. May I know who asked it?
This is CA Binal Shah.
Okay. So it's a woman who has asked.
Yes, from Western region.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Vinal, for asking this question. And so, yes, women have not had the recognition for a little longer time. We used to call it the glass ceiling in corporate circles. However, now women are also understanding. I know image consultants who exclusively work with women professionals. Image is not just about your what you project, your face, your clothing, or not just that, but also your behavior, your attitude, the way you express your perspectives, how you create your brand identity. You are the brand. If you want to showcase your brand, you should learn how to showcase yourself. And that's one surefire way of gaining visibility and also credibility. Of course, there is a triangle of learning or experience, which is called the KSA triangle or the ASK triangle. It is knowledge, skills, and attitude. You may have the knowledge, you may have the skills, the technical skills, but you should also develop the skills to showcase yourself. And I always tell people it is our own responsibility to make sure that we get our visibility. You have to find out ways and means to showcase yourself because recognition need not always come from outside. But if you understand how to position yourself and also how to make yourself relevant to the environment and the context that you're working with or the team that you're working with, it's always important to understand how to um, cope up with the multi-generational or multicultural facets of a team or the work that you have done. You must know how to position yourself. If you really want to do that, you can definitely connect with me. I also do one-to-one coaching for professionals, a kind of a holistic approach to how to position themselves, how to create the visibility. I would be glad to help you and anyone else who would want to do that. We will see how we can position ourselves as a brand. I hope I answered your question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kavita, just a moment,
Yes.
Priyanshu.
Mm.
Kavita, are you on that mentor-mentee thing of Board of Studies?
No, I'm not.
Maybe you should register yourself. I'm sure many can take advantage of your. They are looking for 3 or something, 2 or 3 mentees for each person.
Oh, that would be lovely. I would love to do it.
Yeah,
Sure.
you can maybe register. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Go
You
ahead.
can connect
Priyanshu.
and just let me know how to do that, and I will be able.
Yeah, Priyanshu, you should make that
I'll do
happen.
that. I'll speak to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we come on to the next session, which will be taken care by CA Vikram Kataria ji. Our second.
You're on mute, Priyanshu. You got muted.
Okay. So our second session, which will be delivered by CA Vikram Kataria ji, a chartered accountant in practice since 2012, with professional experience across Big Four audit and indirect tax practices, and as a co-author of authoritative GST publication, CA Kataria beautifully blends technical excellence, practical wisdom, and ethical grounding. A regular speaker at professional forums, he strongly advocates that values are not a limitation. They are the strongest competitive advantage for professionals. Today, he will share practical insights on building trust-driven practices, embedding ethics in daily decision-making, and achieving sustainable professional success. CA Kataria, sir, we are delighted to have you with us. Over to you.
Thank you, Priyanshu.
Your voice is not clear.
Can you confirm now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, now it's good.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanshuji. Thank you, Madhukar sir, and thank you, Kavita madam, for your deliberation. So I would straight away like to borrow the question which was asked after Kavita madam's deliberation. I think it was Veenal Shah. So I think one important aspect is about how you can differentiate yourself. I think Kavita madam has also rightly pointed it out. So if you are able to differentiate yourself as a real value professional, rather than just a professional in terms of your qualification and the work you do, I think once you establish yourself in terms of your credibility as a person driven by values, I think that is more than sufficient for you to stand out from the larger crowd. So I just borrowed that one question for my kickoff deliberation, and happy to see that on a Monday evening, on a week which is typically down south, is considered to be the most enjoyable week of the year, because this is a Pongal week. At least down south, it is generally considered as a week which is actually an off week, and north maybe it's a couple of days vacation or a leave period. But this particular event which is being conducted by this particular committee, I think, is more looking at the perspective of how you can enable and build a better practice, not in terms of the number or the turnover which you would want to achieve, but in more in terms of a complete practice which would be a successful practice in real terms. The numbers are just a means to say, okay, what is your earnings, but how successful a practitioner is would not be basis the numbers, but basis what he has actually achieved in his or her career. So if I have to put things into perspective, okay, so when we look at our practice, we generally look at 2 or 3 aspects. Generally, one is the skill set, second is the experience, and third is the result, which is more in terms of the number results. So generally people are more driven by these 2 or 3 aspects of a practice. But what will actually define you as a professional is with regard to what value system you have built in your practice. For example, when we go to a doctor, what we look from a doctor is not how rich or how well he has established his practice in terms of number of patients, but what we want to look at is how good he is at addressing his patients' problems. How genuine is he in looking at the patients and trying to give the best possible solution? It is not in terms of the achievement in terms of numbers, but the quality and the value system which that particular professional has built and the trust which he has built. So I think this very aspect of building a strong value system would also help a professional to build a trust factor, which I think is something as big as it can get, because it is something which cannot be bought. No amount of money can buy trust. It is only your work, the way you look at your practice can actually build your trust amongst the society, amongst other professionals, and among your industry or clients per se. So if I look at my journey to have a I would say a example to take this discussion forward, I'm not saying that I have built the best possible value system, but taking my career as an example, envisaging what could be the ideal value system is something which I wanted to put forth in this deliberation. So initially in 2009, when I had cleared the CA final exam, so it was, yes, as Madhukar sir told, it's not an easy course. 40% leke aana, 50% average is required. When result has come January, we are so happy. We want to go and enjoy and treat everybody in our family and friends. But post that, what is that we want to do? That was the question. So my decision was, okay, boss, I will want to get into practice. But for practice, is it just enough that I have done a 3-year article in an audit division? Whether it is sufficient? Answer was no. So at that point of time, the only thing which struck me was, boss, I need to get an experience and subject expertise. So even at that point of time, the value system per se was not a strong driver force. The driving forces were experience and knowledge. Basis the experience which I had got post qualification, in 2012 I had started my practice. So I believe many of us part of this deliberation now would be in the early phase of our practice or somewhere in the second half or the middle phase of our practice. So can we ask ourselves, in the number of years we have been in practice or the very recent experiences in our practice, have we really focused on building a core value system? When I say value system, is it enough that I have a value system only for me, myself? Is it for only Vikram? Or is it for my entire organization, for all my team members? Because if I have a value system which is confined only to myself, then the team, which is the heart or the engine of the entire organization, if they are not aligned to my value system, are we going in the same direction? That is going to be a big challenge. So what I have learned in the last 8 to 9 years of my experience in the current organization is that if you are able to look at your value system on paper, it is not an theoretical discussion. It is something where the values are put forth on the paper and the message of the real value system is also being given to the team. Then the entire organization will move towards one direction. All your vision, mission would be achieved if your value system is also aligned and built on a strong foundation. So I would now want to share some of the value system which I have learned in the last 8 to 10 years and also give some insights and some experiences of mine by which possibly you can also understand why those value systems are important. The core value system, which I feel is something which we all carry as part of a CA profession, is that integrity. Now, what do we understand by integrity? So generally, if I ask anybody, okay, what do you mean by integrity? So majority of them would talk about a scenario about being truthful to the nation, means not doing anything which is against the routine practice when you go to a department. Say I have to get a refund work done. Am I working ethically? So integrity is somewhere looked from that lens. But how we look at it is integrity means doing what you say, okay, doing what you have committed, even at difficult times, and looking at aspects where you may have to at times tell the client that this is not possible or this is not the right way of doing it. So I give you an example that in 2018 there was an association meeting with the flour mill association, where the South Indian Association were all together. The owners of the South Indian Flour Mill Association were there, and I had to take a session about applicability of GST on flour being sold under brand or unbranded category. So one of the points therein was whether a company name which is affixed on the packet of the wheat flour, whether would amount to a brand name. That was the entire moot of the discussion. So I had shared my view on the dais before all the owners. Post the deliberation, all the owners were very happy about the entire discussion I had done. And immediately they asked me that we want to go ahead and file an advance ruling under GST. We will not be able to file it through an association. We will nominate 3 entities from the association for whom we would want to file this advance ruling. And they said, boss, don't worry about the fee. We want to get it done because we are concerned about this issue. So I said at that moment, sir, can I go back and revert to you? Because this is a very large group. I cannot be discussing certain things amongst 30-40 owners in one go. So they had nominated 2-3 people to do the interaction with me. Coming back to office, I had called the person who would be the coordinator with the association. I gave him a simple understanding that, sir, it is not about you giving me an engagement or me billing you for this engagement. Please understand this advanced ruling entire structure is so biased towards the revenue that however strong your grounds may be, there is a high possibility that the ruling could come against you. Though legally you are on the right side, but the ruling can come against you. And once the ruling is against you, it becomes a binding principle which you may have to follow. Then you may have to again go to the High Court, and the litigation would only increase for you. The scale of the litigation will increase. So at that point of time, the members of the committee decided we'll just pause for a week or 10 days, we'll come back to you. Surprisingly, within a matter of 4 days, there was an advance ruling which came from More Supermarket on the same issue. This advance ruling was a negative ruling. Even without me calling, one of the owners of the organization in the committee had called me, thanking me that, boss, we wanted to file the application in a week's time, but you had called back and given us the risk perspective about why this ruling may not be correct for us. So it is about building a trust with the entire trade at one go, which I was able to achieve. And it is beyond the fee which I could have earned. Maybe I would have earned 4 or 5 lakhs, but this trust which I have earned is invaluable. We cannot value this. So I think this integrity is not only about the aspect which generally we speak about, it is also doing things which is the right way, guiding the clients what is right and what is not right. Do not look at personal interest first, look at the interest of the larger client as a whole. The second important value system which I have especially inculcated in the last 8 to 10 years is about knowledge. Because the initial 8 to 10 years of my practice was more about building a practice, client base, but now have more people, look at numbers. But slowly what we have understood is that as a culture and as a value, if we are not giving importance to knowledge, because please understand, knowledge is not a one-time exercise. It is not that, okay, I have read this particular subject 4 years back. I have mastered that subject 4 years back. It is sufficient. It is not. I'm so sorry. Because in today's world, the laws are so dynamic. The thought process of the judiciary also is evolving. So if I have to give you a perspective, there was one decision in the earlier tax regime, which was looking at an exemption notification with a very strict lens. So at that point of time, this Dilip Kumar was the judgment where the Supreme Court said this exemption notification have to be looked from a very strict lens, because an exemption granted to one person would necessarily increase the burden of tax on the other taxpayers, because ultimately government has a target for tax collection. So an exemption to one is going to increase the burden for the others. So that was the lens which was given by the Supreme Court at that point of time. But in the last couple of years, there have been few more rulings of the judiciary from Supreme Court, which have now not dismissed the earlier view, but they have said, boss, the earlier view is correct, but it is not correct in all cases. You have to also look at certain exemptions which are beneficial in nature. Look at the purpose of the exemption. Do not give a strict interpretation. So now if I have limited my knowledge to the precedent which had evolved 4 or 5 years back and ignoring all these recent developments, then possibly we are not doing the right advice for our clients. We are not possibly looking at the right arguments to defend the case for our clients. So knowledge is something, it's a constant thing which has to be done without an exception, else we would be outdated and we are not giving a right future for our own employees, because our employees are here not just for the salary, they are also here for a career which they want to build. They have trusted you because you as a professional organization will be able to uplift them in terms of knowledge, experience and all the skill set. If we do not focus on knowledge and only focus on numbers, then again we would be getting into the wrong train and our people also would be getting into the wrong stations. So possibly we should look at having the strong knowledge system, not just for us as proprietors and partners, it's for the entire organization. The third important value system, which I think we can also look at, is independence. So independence is something which I am very proud of, because it may so happen that to please a client. So now let us understand who is our client. Whether the CFO is our client, whether the taxation head is our client. Say you do a tax review, is the tax head your client? Is one of the directors your client? Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholder is the company, the shareholders, even to some extent the government and the department. Because whatever you do as a professional, when we talk to public, array, there is a chartered accountant, he is auditing the books of accounts. There is a trust which is there in the public. Similarly, when we do a certification for any tax matter, the general expectation is that the department should trust a chartered accountant certificate. I am sorry to say, at times I have faced the department officers who do not value a certificate of the chartered accountant. At times that is becoming a sad state of affairs, because they feel, boss, your CA is not independent. He is just writing something which the client wants him to write. So one, we are undermining our own profession. Second, it is also affecting the credibility of the client's own books of accounts. So when we look at any area of practice we are into, whether it's a statutory audit or anything related to taxation, do not give a report which would please a particular individual. Our report is not for an individual. If there are certain aspects of the report which has to be qualified, which has to be marked as a alert or a risky area, we need to do it, because the board, say, who wanted this entire engagement to be done, say there is a tax review which the board has directed the CFO to undertake. So CFO would engage you. So now the CFO would also want to save his skin in terms of giving a report which is not having many loopholes, because ultimately the board is going to question the CFO if things are not in the right shape. So as professional, we have to be independent. We may also have to decide to withdraw certain engagements if our independence is being subject to lot of scrutiny. Because once you do this, your image in the entire professional fraternity would be a person who is independent and would say what is the right thing. You may lose out on one or two clients, but take my word, you would end up adding 20-30 more clients. So imagine what could be your growth if you are focusing on numbers, whether you want to please those one or two clients, or you want to really build a practice where these 20-30 people come to you by the door and give you the work. So I think this independence is something we have to be proud of, and we have to really look at doing what is right for the client and the stakeholders. The fourth one is about innovation. So now we are in a phase of our life, I would say life, not just practice, life, where technology is becoming too big a play. Too big a play, at times it becomes difficult to identify what is real and what is real. So at times, when my son, who's about 13 years now, so he watches certain reels, all the kids at this generation do. So there are certain videos on Instagram and YouTube which appear to be so true, but it is actually a reel. It's not a real video. So now we are in a situation where innovation in practice is required. Technology as a basic essential support function is required in a practice, but do not get it in such a stage where it becomes a real, not a real requirement. Because I have also seen people now starting to invest in technology without knowing what is the real requirement for them for their practice. So when you look at innovation, you ask a question to yourself and your team. Today, if we are at plateau X, where is that we want to be after 3 years, after 5 years, after 7 years? Once you decide what is your roadmap in terms of your target location, Basis that you may have to decide what kind of innovation you would be required and what kind of technology infusion is also required. So now technology also would become a part of your value system, because if we do not get into this journey of innovation, then I'm sorry to say again, we would be an outdated practice. I think Kavita madam also initially asked how many of you have gone through the era where you had tape recorders. So we may become those tape recorders who may become redundant if you do not focus on this innovation as a core value system. Because unless we look at all these aspects as a value system and not looking at it as a need, because a value system is something which you believe should be part of your organization, and those will drive your practice further. So the fifth one, the final one which I wanted to emphasize is on passion. So generally, if we look at the satisfaction which humankind can get, is urge to achieve something, okay, and the actual achievement of it. So if you have a passion which is channelized in such a manner that you fix a target, the target should not be something which is so easy to be achieved. So in our organization also, generally there is no mandate which is being enforced on the partners, but generally the message is look at something which will energize you and give you a passion to achieve. One area could be, are you focusing on writing books? So I have been fortunate to be in this organization where I've co-authored already 3 books. So after writing those 3 books, the kind of satisfaction I had personally got is something unbelievable. It was equivalent to, I would say, clearing the CA final. So you should have a passion, and that passion should also be channelized to your team members. Please remember, this young generation, which even Kavita madam emphasized, there is certainly a gap which exists, but it is not that that gap cannot be overcome. So once you are because these people are also a generation who want to do many things and want to achieve many things quickly. So let us channelize their energy, make it into a focused approach, and build the passion to them, so that the targets of the organization, and when I say target, it is not just the revenue target, it is all the other channelization of the value system which you want to build, the client focus you want to build, is also being run by all the people together, and it is not just one person pulling the cart. To summarize my entire deliberation, I just got this one beautiful phrase, because I could not think of this phrase, but not for this technology support. So I got a very beautiful phrase, because I just captured all my value systems. I got a very beautiful phrase from the technology side. When integrity guides us, please hear me, friends. When integrity guides us, knowledge strengthens us, independence empowers us, innovation drives us, and passion inspires us. We become more than a professional. We become role models and leaders. So when I look at, say, Madhukar sir, like Priyanshu initially told, he is a stalwart. He is a role model for many of the professionals in our field. So it is because the value system he has built. It is how he has carried himself. So if we actually look at those value systems on a very serious note, try to build them as a statement in your organization. So in our office, we have a wall. The wall has our purpose statement, our vision, our mission, and the value statement. It is there on the wall where the entire team sits. So it is not kept in a place where nobody sees. So at times I see so that in certain organization, the statements will be behind the reception wall. So it is something which only if you notice, you may read. It is not something which is generally visible. In our organization, we keep it in the place where majority of our people are seated, because it is something which will also remind them that what is that we really want to achieve as a professional. So my final point here is that let us work towards building a culture which is driven by values, focus on what is our vision and mission. Basis that, I think you would be able to build a practice which is a sustainable practice, number one, because today the challenge is also about people sustaining the practice. Second, a flourishing practice. And third, possibility of becoming a leader in your practice. So I think with this, some of my thoughts which I was able to present. Thank you to Madhukar sir and Priyanshu for giving this opportunity to me. So I would be happy to take if there are any questions, or I would also want to hear from Madhukar sir, because he is someone from whom we have learned many of these value systems. So maybe Madhukar sir also can share his insights on this particular topic. Thank you, Madhukar sir and Priyanshu.
We'll take the questions if there are any.
Yes, we have. The next question is for Kavita ma'am. Does the demand for work-life balance for young CAs indicate a declining commitment or a more sustainable approach to professional excellence?
Okay. This is a double option question.
Yes.
I'll also add after you speak.
Yeah. Okay. So I would definitely not want anyone to regress from achieving their dreams. Hurdles will come, obstacles will come, there will be challenging situations, but how do you prove your mettle? It is by thinking progressively. And for that, I think we have an environment. You have the support of so many people who can sail you through. I think the best approach would be to achieve work-life balance, but it is not an absolute number that we can give to work-life balance. At different times, it is different. It can be 60-40, it can be 30-70, it can be 50-50. So it is a variable actually, but we should not stick to one thing and then think all through my practice, I'm going to achieve work-life balance. None of the professions can achieve total work-life balance and ideal work-life balance. So let us keep this at the back of our mind. Second thing, only those who stood the test of time and stabilized their ship and reset their sails are the ones who sailed through the strong winds. You don't become a good sailor if you don't sail on rough seas, on challenging seas. So younger generation has that, what would I say? I'm looking for a very, very special word. Metal will be too small, maybe too mild for them, because they are, in Kannada we say bisi rakta. So that means they have a lot of enthusiasm and the affinity or the aptitude to take challenging things. It is always nice to develop or be in an environment which supports you to move forward and gives you the tips and hacks. You can also come up with a lot of them. Now, every resource is available at the tip of your fingers. So utilize it best. What should be done in 1 hour can be done in half an hour. I suppose that's what my students are also telling me. So think of ways to do it. That's my take on this. Over to Priyanshu.
I think I will also add or confirm Kavita's point. It's very clear. Today's generation, in my understanding, far smarter than my generation. Of course, my generation is very far away. After me, maybe Vikram and then so many others. So, but I find the guys and girls today, they are so smart, so fast to catch up. They know already things which we would have learned at the age of 30, at the age of 20, they already know. So I think it is up to the people. Many people say, for example, many chartered accountants say that we don't get articles. But the point is that If you're taking care of your articles, that itself will spread. Because this informal network of the students through their Instagram, whatever, I don't use any of them, is phenomenal. So if you're taking care of your articles, train them properly, give them the challenges, you'll never have a shortage of talent coming to your office. And that is really required. So I will agree with Kavita ji, where she says that enable them, then challenge them, then let them go. Give them the space to show you what great things they can do. Also, I have never understood this work-life balance. Though in our office, when I was younger, I used to leave office at 5:30 when my kids were growing. And then Rotary came along and I became 6:30. But even today, most of our offices, if you go at 7, lights will be off. That is only to ensure that you have a life beyond the office. But if you ask me, work is not a difficult thing. You can like your work, you can love your work, or do work which you like or love. So maybe those things are also going to help the younger generation, and they are very good. In my understanding, nothing wrong with them. Perfect. We have to deal with them properly. Next question.
Yes, sir. In the Indian CA profession, how values reminded constant while mindsets have changed? Or are we redefining values to suit modern practice realities?
So I'll answer, Priyanshu.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this value system per se, I think the underlying foundation does not change.
Mhm.
It is maybe certain additional tools are available, certain additional methodologies are now available, which are also evolving over time, which helps us to build the value system much stronger. And maybe with times, the requirement also is that there is a different way of looking at enabling those value systems. But ultimately, the value systems, the foundation does not change. These were the same foundations or the value system which in our organization, for example, existed 20 years back, is existing even today. Maybe the way we have started implementing those have undergone a slight modification, but the underlying foundation remains the same.
All right. So next one is ethical compromise in practice a generational issue, or is it the result of increasing regulatory pressure, competition, and client expectations?
If you look at compromise on ethics, I'm sorry to say, if there is a compromise on ethics, I think that particular person should not call himself or herself as a professional. Second, whatever could be the pressure, whether it's from the regulatory side, whether from the client side, it is ultimately your choice, your decision as to the approach you want to follow. For example, if your engagement is to get a refund for a client, the law is available to you. The law is also prescribed the methodology through which this refund can be obtained. You follow that particular process. If there are roadblocks, practical challenges, there is also a mechanism for escalation. I'll give you an example, Priyanshuji. It happened as a live case in our office. So there was one service tax refund which the client had filed about 20 years back.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular person who had this organization in India had closed down his business and he has moved to the Middle East, to Dubai. But he all of a sudden got to know that there is this refund which was filed 20 years back by some consultant. So he approached us, can you help us out? So we all know 20 years back, what could be the state of the file with the department. So we got just the application and the grounds of the refund file. That's all. So we had approached the particular department to whom this application was filed because this is a service tax refund. They continue to exist. So that particular officer said, boss, this is 20-year-old file, 20-year-old file. In between, lot of restructuring, reorganization of the circles have happened in the department. Means earlier, because the volume of business was less, you might have had 10 circles in, say, Chennai. After a point of time, when the businesses have grown, number of taxpayers have increased, they have increased the circles from 10 to 30. So the reorganization and restructuring of taxpayers also have happened amongst various circles. So the officer conveniently said it is not available with us. You please look at the circle B, which possibly could have your file. When we went to circle B, again the same table tennis game happened. Idhar jao, udhar jao, udhar jao, idhar jao. And finally, the officer also indicated was 20 years ke baad, we have no memory to remember. You have to look at what you can do. So I said, what I can do is only follow up. No, look at what you can do. He said, what I can do, sir, I'll write one letter to commissioner. Because his indication was something different. So we wrote a letter to the commissioner referring to the state of the application and your officers confirming that it is not available. Within a matter of a week, the commissioner office wrote back to us telling that this file is available in A, the circle A where we went first. And this refund application got processed. So it is our choice whether we want to accept a easier route, compromising our own standard, compromising our own value as a professional, or we are okay to take a difficult or a longer route. But end of the day, when we don't compromise, I think we actually have served the nation, served the client. So it is up to us to decide as to which route we want to opt.
All right. The next one is, can a strong value system coexist with growth ambitions, scalability, and work-life balance in today's CA firms? If yes, how?
So to this person, I would first want to make a reference. When we joined this call, it was only Priyanshuji, Kavita madam and myself. So Kavita madam asked Priyanshuji, kaise ho, and have you, did you get time to go for any vacation? So Priyanshuji का immediate response है, no madam, time नहीं है, I could not go. क्या sir, थोड़ा बता रहा हूँ मैं to give a background. So
Yes.
he's tied up in so much of busy schedule. But I told madam, no madam, we frequently travel. In fact, in 25 alone, from office we have done 2 or 3 trips. And personally, I have traveled 2 more times. So it is almost like every 2 months once I am traveling on this kind of leave time. And as Madhukar sir told, the culture also in such a way that 7 o'clock, nobody is in office, it's locked. So if anybody comes, he has to go back. So, and reasonably, I would say we have built a successful practice. Our organization, we have about 600 people today. So a practice can certainly be built provided the way you want to build it. If you have decided this is the way I want to function, this is the way I want my firm to function. And we look as our firm as a family. And we also have this lot of one-to-one discussions with our people, because that is very critical. At times, certain people are emotionally down. Certain people are not able to cope up to the pressure of the work. When we do this one-to-one, many of the hurdles of these people are getting addressed and they are able to work in a more efficient way. It is about enabling our people to work in a more efficient way and serve our client better. Then you will not have a challenge about your timing and your work-life balance. At the same time, our underlying foundation is our value system, which is there in our office and in our culture.
Right. So this is the next one, is the last one. If you had to identify one non-negotiable value that every chartered accountant must uphold irrespective of generation, practice size, or specialization, what it would be and why?
For me, every value system is important. अभी क्वेश्चन ये है कि उसमें से कौन सा सबसे बेस्ट है.
कौन सा non-negotiable?
It is like Virat Kohli or Sachin. So it is, see, both are something we are a great fan of. But if I have to select one, for me, independence. Because whether it is my client, whether it is amongst my partners, whether it is on any other aspect, I do not want to compromise independence, because even today the clients look up to me because I'm independent. They know that if a question is asked, my answer is not biased. if that trust is being built, I think you have taken the client for a relationship of a lifetime. So for me, independence, I would say, is the core amongst all. All are important, but independence is for me.
All right. Thank you. So, Madhukar sir, do you want to ask some?
Yeah, it's a topic of great interest for me.
Yes.
See, the last question especially was very important. And let me tell who was the person who asked that, Priyanshu, about that, whether we can build.
Uh, so I'm not able to get his name right now. It was an like the name is not there.
Okay,
Proper name
all
is not.
right, doesn't
Yes.
matter, doesn't matter. But it's a very good question because he's looking at what are possibilities within the boundaries. So I will like to share a few examples. I also started. I'm not a very good student, and I took a lot of time to pass CA. I failed several times, and then I started practice. And the only point which was very clear is my father was a government officer. He was scrupulously honest, but he was not practical at all. So when he retired, he never went for any other work, and that was little of an issue for me because I said you can work free, don't take even 1 rupee, work free and all that. But anyway, uh, he was from the earlier times. So I decided also to practice without compromising, like Vikram. The first question I want to answer is that what was ethics yesterday? When I say yesterday, it doesn't mean yesterday, it means 10 years, 20 years back, is not ethics today. I remember when I was in school, looking at a girl was a issue. And a girl looking at you, my God, she would be called a flirt directly. But what happens today? Totally different. It is such a free world. So morals and ethics have evolved. There's nothing wrong today. So there is a evolution of ethics, but base remains same. For example, in CA we say, don't solicit clients. So even if the regulation now, we have come to understand that one of the best ways of doing consultation is to dump the ICAI. Don't be under the ICAI control at all. Once you are not in ICAI control, the issues of ICAI will not be applicable to you. But if you are an ethical professional, you will still be following all those ethics. Otherwise, big clients will not come to you. If you are not keeping confidentiality, a big client will not come to you. If you do not keep your word, integrity, they will test you a couple of times, then they will disassociate with you. So value system, ethics and all are tied. That person had asked, what are the top values? I would say there are many top values. And Vikram correctly has said independence for a chartered accountant, because people come to us for our decision. Not just like that. They come to us for confirmation. They already have an idea. They come and say, okay, Madhukar sir, what do you think of this idea? I may examine it and tell him, yeah, it's a good idea, and I'll send him a bill for 50,000 rupees for telling him that. And he pays it happily because of independence. Second is quality of work. Never compromise quality. The fees is separate. Normally you should quote your fees, and once the fees is talked and agreed, whether it is small, big and all is not important. Once it's agreed, you have to put your best. Then you cannot say, no, I am putting little extra. I never thought that I have to spend so much time. Don't get into all this. It is your job. Whether you're getting 1 rupee or 1 lakh, your job has to be the same. Very, very important. I will tell you one small example in my struggling days. I came across a client who was from business community, and he came and he was referred by somebody, and he came, discussed with me quite a lot, and finally he asked me how much will be your fees, which I quoted. He said, "You're just a young chartered accountant, you're charging me such a lot. You know, in my community we don't pay for consultation at all." I said, "But I am only a consultant. How will I live if I don't charge you?" So he said, "I understand." But I told him, before he went, I told him, "Anyway, you have come and spent so much time. I have given you a few value adds. Number one, this. Number two, this. I'll give you one more value add before you go. I'm not going to charge you for this." I gave him those 3 value adds, and he went away. After about 2 months or 3 months, one gentleman in a suit came. He came and straight away asked for my name, and I came. He came and sat opposite me. Mine was a shared office. I just had a table in an office. But he was not worried about all that. He straight away and came and said, "Sir, you have been recommended very highly. The person who recommended you said you are a very knowledgeable person, maybe a bit expensive, but very knowledgeable." Now, this guy who had come, he came and asked me, "Can you do this work?" I said, "Of course, I'm in this area only." And then I gave him a little background. I'm also a co-author of a book in the similar area. And I should be easily able to solve your problem. It will take 1 week. So I told him my fees. He says, "I know your fees will be high." So I was thinking of telling him 10,000. I told him 25,000. And he said, "Absolutely no problem. I'm giving you a lesson. The client who went away from me, who didn't take my services thinking I'm expensive, still gave a good reference to me." I'll give you one more example, which happened in our office. In the same office, in fact, around that time, I had an office boy whose name was Srinivas. This office boy was a very diligent boy, and me and the other chartered accountant who owned that office, where I had a table, we used to share his expenses. We were all not very, you can say, rich or whatever. Not at all rich, in fact. We were managing our lives. That's it at that time. So I had a motorcycle those days. Even though I was in practice for the last 6 years, I couldn't afford a car. So I had gone to a far off place in Bangalore. If anybody is here, Peenya was very far off, and my office was in Double Road, 20 kilometers or so. I got a call from my the owner of the building where I was there. He said that Srinivas has cheated us. He has stolen money and run away. So he told me this and said, "You have to come now. We have to go to the police station." So I said, "Boss, you know how far I am. If I come now, I have to go again tomorrow to Peenya, 40 kilometers up and down. I will spend so much time. If you can allow me, I'll come little late." He said, "No, you should come now only. This fellow has forged the check and gone." So then I told him, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay, he has done that, is it? I didn't think he would do such a thing." Then I told him, "See, X, I'll call him X, who was there. He is a good friend of mine even now." So I told him, "X chartered accountant, Srinivas is a good guy. I don't know why he did such a wrong thing, but he's a kid. He's a small boy. He's earning because his family is very poor. In fact, he won't cheat me, I told him. Then he told, hey, are you joking? He is forging. He has taken, I had given him a check for drawing money, drawing money he took away and he forged a client's check. A client had given a check which he forged and took money out of that. So how can you say he's a good guy? He's a decent guy. I told him, do one thing, go to my drawer on my table, go to my second drawer, pick up the ledger there. Under that, you will find 1,500 rupees. That is the amount he has taken from me also, he said. I said, okay, but go check. He said, how can it be there, Madhukar? It cannot be there, no. I said, it will be there. Please go and check. He said, it's ridiculous. What are you trying to do? I said, I'm trying to tell you, he's a decent guy. So he went anyway. I told him, I'm not coming unless you check it. He went and checked and he said, yeah, money is there. I said, that's the thing. Srinivas can never cheat me. And I told him, you know why X? He cannot cheat me. Because I think about him. I talk to him as a human being. If he has a need, he could have asked me. I would have given him that money. I don't know why he took it away. But anyway, he has done the wrong thing. I will come to the police station. Then we went to the police station and that Srinivas had already got beaten by the police a couple of times. And when I entered, he said, sir, even you have come to complain against me, he said. So I told him, Srinivas, if you had asked this money, whatever you took, would I have given you or not? He said, sir, you would have given. But I didn't want to ask you. Because he had asked for a raise. And this man had not even asked me. He had told him, no, we can't give you a raise. So he decided what he did was wrong. But what I want to bring on the table is trust begets trust. If I trust Kavita ji, she can never ever cheat me. If she trusts me, I can never ever cheat her. Even if I am the biggest rogue in town, even if I am a pickpocket, I will not betray the trust of somebody. This is basic human nature. And it's not what I am telling. There was a very big general called Zhu in China. And he said that trust begets trust. This is just to tell how important it is for us to build trust, which Vikram had talked about. And whenever these things come, we have to be open. And many times, it is not anything wrong which has been done. Of course, we did, the money was returned by Srinivas, and I actually asked the police to let him go. So on the way back, when we came out, my partner, the other person was saying, what the hell are you doing? He will go and cheat elsewhere. I said, the fact is, if you had given him his, what does it matter? Yeah, you could have given him his raise, no? After all, he's a poor fellow coming from a poor family. You forced him to do that. I told him. But anyway, what he did was wrong. I told that boy also, if you do this again, I'm sure you'll be only living in jail. Don't do this again, I told him. So this is just a thought process which I'm bringing to the life. These are all life lessons, you know. I will tell you one more recent thing. You know, all of us want to grow, right? One of the people had asked about growth. One of the ways of growth is to network first with people who can give complementary services. Geographically, they can support you. Or you could also collaborate. When you collaborate also, you have to start with trusting the other person. Not, thinking, okay, what he will cheat me, what will he do? Don't look at all those type of clauses. Assume that he will be as trustworthy as you, and you will be as trustworthy as him. We did a collaboration with a particular firm in Calcutta, big firm, and we were working with them for some time. Then what happened is that they wanted to work in a particular way. So we said, no, it's not possible. So then they parted ways with us in the sense that we did all the work, we got all the fees. And after parting the ways, they went with somebody else. But we had worked with them for 6-7 months and from different locations. And at the end of this experience with the other firm, they felt that even this firm, which was the branch which was the worst in our office, had high ethical standards. So they came back to us and now they are working with us again. I'm just telling you how important trust is, how important ethics is. So if I look at trust is something you should do, trust others. And once in a way, you'll have a bad experience. It's all right, doesn't matter. Life is not, you can't take all the money in the world. You know, Gandhiji said the world has enough for every person, but not enough for one greedy guy. So I would say that keep your quality, keep trust, have empathy with your client, with your employees. You have empathy with clients, you will get their, what I would say, confidence. Now in our office, Vikram possibly has the very high empathy among the clients because he is thinking about the clients. He doesn't go and say, this is my fees. In fact, I think fees comes after 6 months or so of meeting the client. By the time the client is not even bothered about what fees Vikram is going to charge. So serve your articles, serve your staff so that they can serve you. You can't do the work of everybody and you require hands to make things work. That's what we did in our firm. I am serving Vikram. Vikram is serving his partner and his managers and his staff. And his staff is serving our clients and serving indirectly Vikram. They don't leave, they are loyal. One of the lowest attrition rates in our office is in Vikram's office. But he is not an easy go fellow. If somebody makes a mistake, they'll get it. You could have heard from him the way he said also. But he has lowest attrition, highest contribution for employees. They go and play cricket, I think, together and all. I didn't do all this, but he does many other things. He's an evolved partner, I would say. So I think I got away. I became the third speaker today because of that. Priyanshu, back to you.
Okay, sir. So as we conclude today's enriching webinar, so we extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Chairman, Committee for Members in Practice, C.A. Madhukar sir, our eminent speakers, all the participants who are attending this webinar today. So today's deliberation reaffirmed that bridging mindset gaps and upholding values are not optional. They are essential for the professional excellence and long-term success. On behalf of the Committee for Members in Practice, I thank you all for your valuable time and participation. And I would also like to share, as in the during the starting of the webinar, as Madhukar sir told, there is our website, cmp.icai.org. So this is the website QR code. One can scan and then they can look into the bridging the mindset gap videos and all the members benefits, that arrangements which the committee has done. So all the details are there into this.
Other programs also.
And other programs, the programs which upcoming programs, the registrations can also be done through this website. And I also request our participants to please give your feedback. That is also very important to us. And your feedback will also let us know which topics, you can also let us know which topics you want to do this in this bridging the mindset gap. The speakers you want to listen to, we can also speak to them if in case they have time. So thank you very much. Thank you, Kavita ma'am. Thank you, Vikram sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanshu. Very well managed, organized, I'm
Thank
sure your participants are very happy that such a professional way you have done this. And you have been doing this not once, I think more than 15 of them till now.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And one more thing, we won't be doing this Bridging the Mindset Gap on 26th January due to national holiday. And on 19th, we'll be joining at 4 o'clock for the next webinar. Thank you so much. Have
Thank
a
you.
great evening. Thank you.
Sir, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Vikram. Thank you, Kavita. Bye.
I would just like to take a minute to
Yes.
express my gratitude. It was very nice listening to your professional experiences with a humane touch. I think that is what we all should stand for. Hats off to you, Vikram, and also Madhukar sir and Priyanshuji for coordinating. And it was nice. I learned a lot of things, a little deep dive into your own profession. It gave me a little more perspective, an enlarged perspective, and I'm sure I'll use these uh, to substantiate what I promote during my sessions about behavior, attitude, and mindset, and all that. It really helped me. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If possible, I would like to come back and deliver something more.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yes.